da, da. Da, 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 da. Did it. So good morning, Canada, and welcome to the show. I am your host, Parmesan, and this is Niagara Due North, where we bring you news that's important. Okay? And first thing I would like to talk about today is something a little bit positive from the election. Okay? David Coletto himself. He is the CEO of Abacus Data, and he posted this. If I told you a year ago that both the Liberal and Conservative leaders would end the campaign with net positive impressions, would you believe me? Shreitista then responded with this. I am just happy we had an election where people are actually voting for the better of the two instead of the least worst. And isn't that true? Most elections, people disapprove of the leaders. I don't know, that was just something nice I saw. I thought I'd share it. This was quite an incredible election that I believe was lost due to strategic voting and media manipulation. Old people were really afraid of Donald Trump, especially in the East Coast. Now, did you guys hear this? Germany is sort of the AFD from Parliament. Now this is crazy. Apparently they're saying that the AFD is trying to withhold ballots from, obviously, migrants. Okay, so let's take a look into this video right here.
Germany's domestic intelligence agency has designated the far-right Alternative for Germany party an extremist organization and a threat to democracy. The AfD finished second in February's national election with almost 21% of the vote, making it the main opposition in the incoming parliament. The official classification doesn't mean the AfD is banned, but its activities will now be subject to even closer surveillance.
Right-wing extremist with a disregard for human dignity. That's how the far-right AfD, Germany's second largest political force, is now officially classified in an 1,100-page report.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I really don't like the look of what is going on over there. Getting into the next topic, everybody, is today's top story. We have the Alberta rally. So in this one, folks, we're going to take you through some footage of the Alberta
Independence Rally
that was actually emceed by a YouTuber, John Bolton. So, let's get into it. Was it a big rally? Let's see. Man, crowds really love to hear those kinds of words, man. They really love that kind of rhetoric. That fed up kind of rhetoric. They have every right, folks. Look how huge it is. Look how huge this rally is. Look at that. There's a lot of angry Albertans, folks. Not really liking Mark Carney. Marty up north says, first post-federal election separatist rally in the Alberta legislature yesterday. They're going to get even bigger all summer long, especially since Carney is continuing down the exact same trajectory set by his predecessor Carney. Carney said he wanted to mend the division in Canada, but he won't. I am this close to thinking that's what King Charles is coming down for. Like, I'm sitting here scrambling my head about what King Charles is coming down for. Folks, what's King Charles coming down for? Comment down below. By the way, I want to say something about the Crown land, because I hear a lot of separatists talking about how the Crown land is provincial and it's not federal. The Crown land is King Charles. It's the King's. It's the Crown's. It's not Alberta's. It's not Canada's. That's what Crown land means. And I think they'll find out the hard way if they try to separate that's what it means, man. What do we got next here, folks? We got Donald Day Trump. If his name was Donald Day Trump, that would be really funny. Donald J. Trump, folks, everybody, folks, gosh, folks, on MSNBC again with... Guys, did you know she's a conservative? Talking with MSNBC about, yet again, Canada. It's the exact same thing, but that's just the news. Mark Carney didn't do anything to curb Donald Trump's rhetoric around this situation. He's done nothing. He's not going to do anything. He's going to try to go around the tariffs.
Canada. You have long talked about making Canada the 51st state. There's obviously a new Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, who you spoke to after his victory. He says that you didn't talk to him in that call about making Canada a 51st state.
No, he called me. He was very nice, and I congratulated him. He had a victory. It's a very close victory. It's, there's no majority or anything, so that's going to make things a little bit difficult, I think, for him to run. But he nevertheless had a victory, and he's a very nice man, I think.
Do you plan to talk to him about making Canada a 51st state?
He wants to come and see me. He's going to come this week or next week.
So will you talk to him about making Canada a 51st state, annexing Canada?
I'll always talk about that. You know why? We subsidize Canada to the tune of $200 billion a year. We don't need their cars. In fact, we don't want their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't even want their energy. We have more than they do. We don't want their lumber. We have great lumber. All I have to do is free it up from the environmental lunatics. We don't need anything that they have. We're giving them. I asked Mr. Trudeau, who I call Governor Trudeau, I said, not Prime Minister, Governor. I said, Governor Trudeau, could I ask you one question? Why are we giving you $200 billion? Why are we subsidizing Canada? If Canada was a state, it wouldn't cost us. It would be great. It would be such a great, it would be a cherished state. And if you look at our map, if you look at the geography, I'm a real estate guy at heart. When I look down at that, without that artificial line that was drawn with a ruler many years ago, it was just an artificial line, goes straight across. You don't even realize what a beautiful country it would be. It would be great. But I don't think the American public wants me to pay $200 billion a year to subsidize Canada. Again, remember this.
Yeah.
We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything. We do very little business with Canada. They do all of their business practically with us. They need us. We don't need them.
You and I talked, and I asked you if you would rule out military force to take Greenland, and you said no, you don't rule out anything. Would you rule out military force to take Canada?
Well, I think we're not going to ever get to that point. It could happen. Something could happen with Greenland. I'll be honest. We need that for national and international security.
But not with
I think
Canada?
It's highly unlikely. I don't see it with Canada. I just don't see it. I have to be honest with you.
Okay, but you don't rule it out for Greenland.
And by the way, Canada, they spend less money on military than practically any nation in the world. They pay NATO less than any nation. They think we're subsidized. They think we are going to protect them. And really, we are. But the truth is, they don't carry their full share, and it's unfair to the United States and our taxpayers.
But you are not ruling out military force to take Greenland.
I don't rule it out. I don't say I'm going to do it, but I don't rule out anything. No, not there. We need that. We need Greenland very badly. Greenland is a very small amount of people, which we'll take care of and we'll cherish them and all of that. But we need that for international security.
See, yeah, so it's not that he doesn't say, there's nothing new he said there. But that's just the news. That's just it. Carney hasn't changed anything. Carney doesn't mean anything. Carney didn't do anything to Donald Trump at all. Yeah, he's a nice guy on the phone. I'm a nice guy too. And lastly, folks, on the show today, we have Australia's election that really oddly went just the same way as Canada's. What is the deal with that, everybody? Look at what we have here. Poly market, okay? Just the exact same, okay? What is the deal with the dude losing his seat? Man, this Australian election is making me feel like it's not so much China so much as it's the monarchy. If you look, they still weren't as conservative as we were. They still weren't doing as good as Pierre was, but something is freaky about that. And I said it in my last video, guys, and I will say it again. The next Commonwealth election, I am definitely voting left. And on that note, everybody, if you liked the show today, please like and subscribe down below. And if you have something to say, leave a comment. I'm very active in the comment section. And everybody, I will see you next time. And everybody, I am Parmesan. This is Niagara Due North, the okayest news source, and I will see you next time.